Hello everyone, my name is Jessie Tiggis and welcome to the podcast. On this episode, I'll be talking about how shift work and sleep can impact heart rate variability in the sport of CrossFit. Later in this podcast, I will be interviewing a former CrossFit Regionals athlete, Jessica Nathy. But first, some background knowledge on heart rate variability, also known as HRV. A new company that tracks body recovery called Whoop explains heart rate variability the best, stating that heart rate variability is the variance in time between the beats of your heart. So, if your heart rate is 60 beats per minute, it's not actually beating once every second. Within that minute, there may be 0.9 seconds between two beats, for example, and 1.15 seconds between two other beats. The greater this variance is, the more ready our body is to execute at a high level. Although heart rate variability manifests as a function of your heart rate, it actually originates from your nervous system. Your autonomic nervous system, which controls the involuntary aspect of your physiology, has two branches, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic branch. The parasympathetic branch, often referred to as rest and digest, handles inputs from internal organs, like digestion or your fingernails and hair growth. It causes a decrease in heart rate. The other branch is the sympathetic branch, often called fight or flight, and reflex responses to things like stress and exercise. This increases your heart rate. Heart rate variability comes from these two competing branches simultaneously sending signals to your heart. If your nervous system is balanced, your heart is consistently being told to beat slower by your parasympathetic system and beat faster by your sympathetic system. This causes a fluctuation in your heart rate, or HRV. For the average person, their HRV numbers range anywhere from 55 to 110. HRV is relative to the individual, therefore one person's high could be another's low. In general, the higher the number, the better your body is responding between the two branches. So, why does it matter to those who work shifts like Jessica, a first responder? First question I have, do you use any wearable technology to help track your HRV?
I don't currently wear anything. I was wearing the Whoop strap for about 6 consecutive months. I stopped that when I went to part-time about 3 months ago.
Question 2, do you train after your shifts?
Yes, so I work 24-hour shifts. I get off at 8 in the morning, and I'll usually come straight to the gym. I have a couple-hour window where I feel really good, so I try to get my workouts in before 10 a.m., and that seems to give me some energy for the rest of the day.
Perfect. Question 3, how does your HRV look that night coming off your shift?
Coming off shift, I notice about a 40-point, give or take, drop. So, for one example, one day I came on shift, my HRV was 67, and then the next day, after being up quite a few times during the night, so little sleep, I was about 42 the next day.
Question 4, does not sleeping on shift work impact your HRV?
Yes. So, like I said, I see usually a pretty significant drop, and I also see an increase in my resting heart rate. Another example, going on to shift, one day I was 118. That was coming off of a 4-day, so I was fairly rested. Again, we had a night with little sleep, and I was 66 coming off. I think we got about 2 hours of sleep that night, and my resting heart rate went up that day as well.
So you notice a decrease in heart rate variability and an increase in resting heart rate?
Yes. Yep.
Question 5, what are your average numbers for HRV?
I've been as low as 42, and I've been as high as 136. 136 was when I came off vacation for a couple weeks, so I was pretty rested. But calculating my averages, I'm anywhere from about 93 to 118, give or take.
You think stress plays like a really big role?
Huge role, yeah. My hydration, my workload, stress, and sleep, I've noticed have played the biggest differences.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Jess.
Thank you.
When it comes to CrossFit and training, HRV plays an important role in muscle recovery. As you may know, muscles break down as you work out, essentially putting your body into a state of stress. During recovery, your body brings nutrients to the muscle to restore and rebuild the muscle fibers. Having a higher relative HRV facilitates this process by increasing the connections between the parasympathetic and sympathetic systems. So, get your sleep in and reduce daily stressors to increase your HRV through proper recovery. More research is needed to be conducted to see how nutrition can impact your HRV, but in the meantime, it can't hurt to eat clean. Based upon the person's sleep and stress in life, this can deeply impact the body's recovery system. In an article titled, "What is Heart Rate Variability, HRV, and Why Does It Matter?" researcher Tina Hoffman stated that a higher HRV has been found to be associated with reduced morbidity and mortality, and improved physiological well-being and quality of life. Huge thanks again to Jessica for giving us some insight on how shift work can impact heart rate variability. I hope you learned something new here today. As always, if you have any questions or comments, you know where I'll be. Fort Collins Athlete Factory. Till next time, thanks for listening.